Good afternoon, everybody. It's Paul here. It's Monday, the 11th of March, 2019. Here we are for session 30 of Mastering the 4 M's of Trading, part of the Admiral Markets educational webinar series. My name's Paul Wallace. I'm your guide. I'm a trader, analyst, and coach. As always, we'll just look to begin with a quick risk disclaimer. Trading with financial instruments offered by Admiral Markets carries a high level of risk which is not suitable for all investors due to their complex nature. Before entering into client agreement or making a transaction, please make sure to read the terms and conditions of our service. Consult a specialist if necessary to ensure you understand the risks involved in trading. This presentation and the accompanying video is for information and educational purposes only. Online education materials are developed by Admiral Markets and distributed by Admiral Markets Group investment firms for a global audience. Therefore, please take into consideration that the information in this session may not be suitable for everyone. As of August 2018, the regulation within the European Union differs for retail clients and professional clients. In our presentation, we use demo trading accounts where all clients can still use a high leverage in a risk-free environment. Before opening a live trading account, please consider the differences between retail and professional trading terms. Retail clients benefit from unlimited negative balance protection. Professional clients at Admiral Markets receive a compensation of account deficits with the maximum payout of £50,000 sterling as per our negative balance protection policy. As always, there are many good reasons to trade with Admiral Markets. If we notice there on two of the most popular trading instruments, both the DAX 30 and the Euro Dollar, there are very competitive spreads during main market trading hours. And we also provide the MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 trading platform with our own unique Supreme Edition. If you have any questions about that, please get in touch with your account representative. Also, Admiral Markets is a truly global brokerage where we have locations around the world where we operate from. Please speak to your account representative and they'll be happy to guide you to utilize the one most suitable for your own trading requirements. As always, ladies and gentlemen, our expectations for our 4M sessions is for me to educate you about the 4Ms of trading, so you can go away, analyze any market and be ready to trade it, and also to help raise your self-awareness about managing risk and about managing yourself. For yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, I'll just ask that I appreciate we have a broad range of experience in the room. We are under the time limitation to 45 minutes, so that sometimes means we can't go into the depth of topics, but we focus on tools that you can utilize tomorrow. So, as always, ladies and gentlemen, our Mastering the 4Ms of Trading is about learning, understanding, and being able to master those 4 M's of trading: markets, method, money, and myself. The last few weeks, we've focused a bit on money and also a little bit on myself. Today, we're going to focus a little bit on markets as we go through what we've discussed over the last few sessions. So, if you remember, ladies and gentlemen, that we've talked about having a routine, a trading process, and we've had a sort of a 10-step process that we've covered over the last few sessions in order to give you the most insightful, helpful process to follow. We talked about step 1, define levels of support and resistance. Step 2, define if there's a trend. Step 3, wait to see how price reacts at key support and resistance levels. Step 4, look at price action signals at support and resistance levels. And step 5, understand whether that's part of a bigger chart pattern. This year so far, we've covered the sort of, let's call it like the back 5 in terms of step 6, about risk management, define your risk, accept it, and stick to it. Step 7 is about rewards, targets, or trailing, know your exits. Step 8 was about recording. Make sure you keep scrupulous records. So that under step 9 is about reviewing, so you can review your trades to improve your performance. And step 10 was all about repeating, okay? Rinse and repeat. It's about consistency and discipline are key and how we could go about actually starting to develop them. So what we wanted was to have sort of, just to begin with, for the first part of Mastering the 4Ms, just 10 simple steps that you could follow day in, day out in your own particular trading. what we thought we would start to look at for the next couple of sessions is just how to put that into practice, okay, in particular different trading instruments. So, we talked about at the start how we will look at things like the FX. In particular, we're talking about, the dollar index and then the 28 major pairs there. We'll also be looking at indices, okay, in particular the American, S&P, Dow, Jones, and Nasdaq, along with the European FTSE and DAX, and also the Far East Nikkei. What we're going to actually focus on today is I thought we'd look at something a little bit different, okay? We'll have a little bit different, and we'll look about, the commodities market. So we'll have a look at oil, both the Brent and the West Texas, gold, silver, palladium, natural gas, and platinum. And that's actually where we're going to be on our focus as we put our 10 steps into practice. We also have the opportunities to look at at equities, okay, and particularly some of the particularly popular ones that are available to us on the Admiral Markets trading platforms, and also crypto as well, which we'll look at in a future session. But as I said today, we're actually just going to look at our commodities. So just remember, just very quickly, because I like to go through it just to make sure that every time you hear it from me, it sinks into you as new traders and it becomes just part of your own process and the way you trade. Step one, define levels of support and resistance. So whenever we open a chart, and we're going to look at the commodities charts in a moment, we look at the monthly, the weekly, daily charts and start to draw in a horizontal levels of support and resistance. And we can also use significant psychological round numbers as well. And for new traders, we can also use fractals. If you're unsure about fractals, well then, I can suggest that you go and check out the previous Mastering the 4 M's of Trading webinar sessions, which you will find on the Admiral Markets YouTube channel and also on the Admiral Markets Facebook page. Step two, remember, define if there is a trend, all right? So we talk about this every week, that the good trends leap off the chart at you, ladies and gentlemen. And what I need to know from you as a trader is that you're in a position to be able to identify when a market is congested or going sideways and when a market is trending. Step three, once we have identified our key levels of support and resistance, once we've actually identified whether that particular market is in a trend, well, then we want to see how does price react at key support and resistance levels. And the reason being for that is we are looking for a confluence of events. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for somewhere between 2 to 4 things all to come together at a particular time and place to give us an opportunity for a trade. What we looked at in step 4 is, about looking at those price action signals at support resistance levels. If you remember, we covered quite a few different little tactics, quite a few different little setups that you can utilize in your own trading. All of the individual sessions where we covered those, as I said, you'll find on the Admiral Markets YouTube channel or on the Admiral Markets Facebook page. We looked at pin bars, engulfing candles, inside bars, 3-bar reversals, key reversals and momentum reversals, key day reversals and the combo with the 1, 2, 3. We looked at the power of the 20 period moving average and the actual 1, 2, 3 pattern itself. So be sure to take a look at those on the YouTube channel. Also, step 5, okay, remember we looked at the bigger chart patterns, so for continuation, things like bull and bear flags, also for ascending and descending triangles and symmetrical triangles, and for reversal patterns, things like head and shoulders, double top and bottoms, triple top and bottoms, and cup and handles. So there, we have the sort of first 5 steps, okay, first 5 steps which we can just, apply to any particular chart, okay? Any particular chart that we look at, we want to have just a simple process that we can follow that enables us to have a consistent and disciplined approach. Remember that was step 10 about how consistency and discipline are key. So we're going to switch across to the charts in a moment, but just so remember for future sessions, okay, we're going to look a bit more on managing myself, about how you manage performance, how you recover from a slump, what you can do to improve your trading performance. Later on, probably as we move into Q2, we'll look at some shorter term trading, sort of the opportunities there, and we'll also look at a few advanced trading tactics as well as we get into Q2. So Vincenzo's asking, will they receive a link to the webinar recording? Yes, the webinar will be up within the next 24 hours, that you'll be able to download it, as I said, either from the YouTube channel or from the Admiral Markets Facebook page, and you'll be able to sort of watch that on demand as you when you see fit. I hope that helps. You're welcome, Vincenzo. So, remember just before we switch to the slides, you're always looking to manage the 4Ms of trading as a trader, okay? You're always looking to understand the markets, the methods, the money, and myself. Are they all in alignment? Is there one of the particular areas that you're strong on at the moment? Is one of those areas that maybe you need to do some work on development? That's okay, all right? As traders, we are all in a state of evolution. We're always looking to develop our skills. But, what we say is most traders tend to do their best when they are those 4Ms are in alignment. And as I said before we move to the charts, if you have any questions on this or on any of the other Mastering 4Ms of Trading webinars, a series that by all means get in touch with us at Admiral Markets. You can call the London number there, 02077264003. Drop us an email at hello@admiralmarkets.com. As I said, you can look at the youtube.com/Admiral Markets and facebook.com/Admiral Markets Global. As I said, those two areas are where the recording for this and all of the remaining of the sessions will be placed, so that you have access to them constantly. So let's move across to some charts. All right, let's move across. Let's just hopefully, here we go. We can move across. What we have here, as I said, is the Admiral Markets. This is the MT4 platform here, and what I have it on here is I have it on the British Pound portfolio there. Okay, so not surprisingly, being based in the UK and with a rather important week ahead with the Brexit votes, Theresa May's votes this week. Just taking a look at what's going on in the pound against pound against all the major currencies. If you're particularly interested in the analysis and the trading ideas that come out of that, well then by all means you can join me on the real-time daily trading ideas webinar. That's every Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock London time. 15 to 20 minutes of me just doing a quick overlook of the markets and a look at one or two possible trading ideas. But, actually today, as I said, it's all about commodities. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a quick way, how I can sort of set up and look at building a bit of a profile on my charts. So here we have on the market watch here, and you can see that I've got a fine and wide selection of trading instruments. If you're unable to always see them, what you can do is you can just right click when you're on the market watch and go down and click to show all, and that will show you what's available and also the latest versions, especially if they are let's say quarterly contracts. But what I want to look at, as I said, is I want to look at commodities. So I just want to scroll through here, okay, and just find out where the commodities are. As I said, I've already got this profile that's set up for pound against, just basically the UK sterling. But we can see here if I go through, I've got gold there. And actually, here's what I'm just going to do. I'm just going to basically drag and drop into my here we go, into my blocks here, where I can just get all the various different commodities. Here we go. I've got Brent here. I've got WTI here. Just make that there. Here we go. If I go down more, I should be able to find the other commodities here. Just scroll through gently here. Okay, there we go. We've got silver here. We've got palladium here. Palladium. And I also have platinum, and I have natural gas here. I do apologize. And what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to have here. I'm just going to have the sort of the dollar index. I'm going to put that in there as well. Here we go. There's the latest one right down at the bottom. This should hopefully be. There we go. That should be good at the moment. So what you can see is I now have just a broad selection of commodities there, and the dollar index. Why am I interested in dollar index? Well, commodities are priced in dollars, so it's interesting to see the kind of relationship they have there. So what I'm going to do is now I just want to save that profile. Okay, I want to save that profile, and I'm just going to put it in here. I'm going to just call it my commodities profile. All right, so that will have there, it should be in there. So now I have that there, you can see there at the bottom there. So I always have this commodities profile, so I can always have a look at what's going on and just sort of take a view on the of the chart on the market, see what's going on overall with the commodities. So what do you remember is, we talked about very early session about how, we set up a chart. What we've got here is this, I have just a very simple template. Remember, what we utilize is a blue 20 period moving average, a red 50 period moving average, and a green 200 period moving average. I also have fractals in here, okay? You can see them there. If you don't know where to find them, you can just go to Insert, Indicators, down to Bill Williams, then you go to fractals, okay? Instead, if you want to learn more about what a fractals is and how they, what impact they have upon markets, well, then by all means go back and have a look at earlier sessions on the YouTube channel. But there we have. So if you remember what, step one is to draw in our levels of support and resistance. So, if you remember, we start with a monthly, go down to a weekly and down to a daily charts. And, here we're looking at gold on the monthly chart, and I'm just trying to look and identify levels of support and resistance. And, this is how fractals can also help us. You can see there's lots of fractals there in a kind of alignment there that's showing us that, for whatever reason, there's a kind of an interest there in a chart. I just want to get in and just draw a horizontal level there, okay, just to be able to push that there. Okay, just for the moment on the main, it doesn't have to be overly accurate. I just want to understand where I see there's lots of those particular levels happening. If there are particular sort of, as I said, particular areas that are of interest, or we might find that there are particular round numbers. I normally like to see at least, sort of about 3 touches, but I'm also keen to know where are the extremes. Okay, we can see this is the recent high of the last 10 odd years. Okay, and I'm also intrigued to know where are the recent lows of the last 10 odd years, and where does market had extremes and bounced its way back from. That starts to give me just areas that I'm going to be of interest in. Okay, just on here we go. This is just off the monthly, just off the monthly chart itself. Then, if you remember, what we talked about is, we just want to go from the monthly chart down to the weekly chart. Okay, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit, and we can see there's lots of fractals there, and I'm just curious just to see where are those particular areas that might be of interest to me, that where there's been significant turnarounds, okay, where price has bounced off, where there's actually quite a lot of fractals in one particular area. Particularly on gold at the moment, I'm quite happy with what we have there. Just an understanding of the sort of the major areas, the major zones. That's all I'm looking for at the moment. I can see that maybe I want to just tighten up this area here, because the most recent data is we've got quite a lot of fractals there. Okay, down at sort of about 1366 area. So just to tighten it up where I see it. Okay, where I'm happy, where I can see the way price has bounced around particular areas. Remember, we like to see price, bounce off a very clear area, but markets aren't always as precise as that. Okay, it's very often determined as a bit of a zone more so than just the price turning on a sixpence. Occasionally it will do, but really more often than not, it's looking like it will be an actual zone. So, if I look at this on gold on the weekly chart, okay, I personally would be looking at this saying, really, apart from this price action here, we seem to have been, in quite a resistance level there, right? Around about, what's that? Around about 1360 to 1365. We've also had, areas here around about sort of 1180 and also down to around about 1060, 1050. That a period, price has actually particularly bounced off, and I'm just going to sort of draw in this particular area here as well. You can see that it bounced off there a few times. Okay, in that area we can see it was a little bit of resistance and a little bit of support. So I'm just drawing these levels in. If I can go down to if I want to go down, I can start to draw down into the daily chart. And not only can I particularly draw on levels, but I can also start to draw in particular patterns as well. Okay, so this is just there was a nice pennant there, price drop down there just beneath the what was the sort of 1300 level there. I'm just going to basically bring that in, just push. And there we can go. Okay, so what we're looking at is if I just go back up to the weekly, as I said on the weekly chart, I think we're looking at it's a little chase of an opportunity to bounce around there. Okay, and then we could I'm looking down into the daily chart. Okay, if we look at the daily chart, I think it's probably clear to see we're in a nice downtrend here. Okay, sort of the midway of last year, then we had an area congestion, and now we've rallied back up there. Okay, and we've been in an uptrend. All right, we've been in an uptrend. Prices above the was above the 20, above the 50, and now prices kind of dropped down here. And now we're back around the 1300 area, big round psychological number. Okay, and also we can see price is just knocking about there. Okay, at the moment. So what I'm going to be interested to see is price going to push up here and then make what would be a lower high before the move, start of a new downtrend to the downside, down towards around about that 1250 zone. That's what I'm particularly looking at there. So we'll just take a look at that. So we're just very quickly getting an idea of gold, okay, and we can just look at that and have a little look through some of the other commodities now. So we'll just very quickly have a little look at that. That was gold. So while we're on gold, why don't we have a little look at silver as well? Okay. Once again, just monthly chart of silver starting off. You can see there, you can see the price action yourself there. Okay. And once again, I'm just going to start monthly, daily, weekly. Okay. Just to begin with, I want to draw in at the extremes. I want to draw in particular areas and zones where price seems to have been maneuvering from the monthly chart. Okay. Just so because these levels, price remembers these levels because even with the advent of computers, they're still basically just effectively, running programs that have been designed by humans. So, we just once again, as I said, just drawing in levels of support resistance. As I said, the fractals, when you're seeing particular areas of them, in particular, in alignment or movement, that starts to just get us interested. When we exercise that, then we can go down to the weekly chart. Just going to draw in that here because what we're looking at there is just in this particular area here. What I can see on that weekly chart, that was a double bottom there, which is a reversal pattern, and we can see that basically price drifted its way up there. So what I'd be looking at is just looking at, well, is this a possibility of of a bigger pattern here in terms of a descending triangle? I'm just going to make that chart element just a little bit more useful. Yeah. So just drawing in those particular levels. What I'm interested to see is, could it actually break through those? Could it break through that particular sort of trend line there? That could that actually happen? Could that work its way up there? We can see that prices had a little bit of a reaction there. Okay, and is it a case of prices just getting squeezed and squeezed? It's in a little bit on that weekly turn. I'd say it's even though we've had a double bottom here, we've still been sort of just making lower highs here. Okay, we're getting, is there a squeeze? Is there a descending triangle pattern happening that would indicate that a break of around about that 1388 level? That's what we're going to be keeping an eye on there. If we go down to the daily chart, we just tighten up our drawing if possible. Go. Let's just zoom out a little bit there. There we go. We can see that we had a bit of a plunge there. Okay, and actually that double bottom there, we can see the price just bounced off it, or right off that area. It's about, what would you call that, about $13.90, $14 seems to be pretty important. I'm kind of like looking at that and just want to update it to sort of just say it's really just looking at that as $14 has been a particularly significant level, and then prices rallied up, and now we've hit that kind of trend line. We had once again a bit like gold, but a little bit of a drop down to around about that 200. And once again, what I'm going to be looking at is to see, will price rally its way back up to that sort of 50-20 area? Is that now going to be a sort of a lower high, which would give me an indication that actually the sort of a new little downtrend on the daily chart is starting to emerge. So there's quite a little bit of similarities there between silver and gold there. So we just have this to be able to sort of build our own picture of what's been going on. Here we have. Let's have a little look at oil. So what we have is Brent. Okay, you've got Brent and West Texas. All right, West Texas, as the name implies, is the U.S. oil, and invariably Brent is Brent crude oil from the North Sea. So what to look at here. This is Brent. This is the monthly chart. All right, this is what we're looking at. You can see there's been some areas of congestion followed by complete big moves. Once again, as I said, just this is us starting off with our commodities part. So we're just going to be looking at where are those extremes. Okay, where do we see price at particular extremes? Just drawing in particular horizontal levels of support resistance, and the fractals can help us a great deal with that when we start to see several of them coming together. Here we go. Right. Kind of interested here. What I'm looking at on the monthly chart is we had a little bit of I'll be looking at this as we had a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders here. We had left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Just looking at that, as the kind of a bit of a sloping neckline that was broken. And then price, rallied up nicely. Remember, this is a weekly chart, okay? So, it went from about $53 up to about $87 there. So, really particularly a nice 30 plus buck move. But what it got finished with, and this is, kind of interested in this is, we had this candle pattern here, okay? Those of you who've been joining us going through will realize that's, a key reversal pattern there. We can see price was in an uptrend, price pushed to a new high, okay, but it rolled over and closed lower than the previous low of the previous candle. Okay, that was a real very an indication of a complete change there, turn. And then what we saw was the price actually just fell away there for the next couple of months. So as I said, at the time, the key reversal candle, we don't see it. It doesn't happen as often as we'd like, but when we do see it, regardless of whether you're trading it on a 5-minute chart or here on a monthly chart, well, it's most definitely sort of something you want to be aware of and sort of take notice of, because there's definitely a move coming, and that's what we've seen here. So that was the monthly. If we go down to the weekly, I'm just going to zoom out. That monthly key reversal, well, you can see that that was the kind of that weekly move there, wasn't it, which continued down. Price this year has just rallied up there, okay, a bit like you remember we talked about gold and silver, about we're looking to rally up and see if we made a lower high. Well, that's we're in that kind of zone on Brent as well, okay. It's a case of is it making a lower high before it moves continues to move downwards. There's not really, there's a very short-term trend over the last few weeks, okay, but it's it looks more like a pullback in the sort of downtrend that's happened there. And if I look at a daily chart, well, here we go. Actually, on the daily chart, well, you can see for yourself there that was actually a really very, very nice sort of downtrend, okay, very nice downtrend. But lo and behold, okay, what actually ended that? What ended that downtrend? Well, if I just draw it in here, I'm just going to draw it in there. Okay, just put that in. Well, what do you know? What do we have here? That is, we've just looked at a bearish key reversal on the monthly chart, and we can see that the downtrend that started was ended by a daily key reversal. Okay, price has been in a downtrend. Price pushed, it pushed to a new low, but then the bulls stepped in and bullied it all the way back up. Okay, and it invariably closed up near its high, of the day. It also closed higher than the previous high of the previous day. It's a very, very strong candle. Okay, it's a very strong reverse candle. It's not only is it a key reversal, but it's also, as you can see, an engulfing candle there, okay, as well. And that in itself is, it gave us an indication, and then we can see that actually price just has run very, very nicely there. So if you want to see look at how the ways we would be looking to trade that, then make sure you go back and have a look at some of the earlier webinars in the YouTube channel, because we cover that key reversals We cover in particular the sort of different ways you can actually look for it and trade it. But you can see, you can see that that's what's happened there. Okay, that downtrend got ended with a key reversal, and it just, it just ran very, very nicely. And if I'm just, if I just pull this off here, I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit. Oh, apologies. What I'm kind of interested and curious for is that, once we had that key reversal, price rallied up, but then, what we saw, price, the moving averages crossed, and we've talked about how, we don't trade moving average crossovers, but, there's kind of a final little indication that that downtrend was nicely over. But if we look at it here, we talked one of the sessions about the power of the 20-period moving average, and hopefully you can see there that it's just not been able to close beneath it. The 20-period moving average was acting as dynamic support. It was just pushing up here, pushing up, pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. Okay, and that's what's continued to happen. Every time prices drop beneath it, it has not been able to close for it for the last, what would you call that, about the last 6 to 7 weeks. So that's quite significant, all right. And what I'd be particularly looking at and thinking of in terms of this on the daily chart is I'll be thinking, well, is this really what we've just had is maybe a false breakout of a triangle, all right? It broke down, but it couldn't continue down, and would we possibly then get just a move to the north up towards that daily 200 period? Excuse me, daily 200 period. Excuse me, moving average. So, sorry, there we go. So, I'd be keeping an eye on that. To me, that is something I'd be keeping an eye on. We've got a, almost like a symmetrical triangle there. And I'd actually be expecting we had a bit of a false breakout. Well, don't be surprised if we see a bump to the north and actually move up towards the daily 200. You can see back here, okay, that it is significant. Price comes down to it and bounces off. So, you'll be looking at, well, maybe I'm going to be trading it as a triangle, buying it around about, sort of around about 67, trading it up to 70, okay? So that's where you've got the daily 200. You also have the big round psychological number of $70. So, that would make for a nice little trade on Brent daily. So, let's have a look at on West Texas. All right, West Texas oil. Once again, the pictures. It's not entirely dissimilar from Brent. Okay, we just get to look at this here and just looking at these particular levels and areas of interest. As always, just trying to draw them in, trying to sort of utilize, be able to be very quickly and identify, possible areas of support and resistance, and just looking at, what's actually there and available for us. Okay, so just looking at just drawing in the patterns that we see. Right, just we all see different patterns. Okay, but let's just even just have a look at that there. A little bit of a wedge there. Okay, on a weekly chart before it broke down pretty strongly. You can see that actually broke down pretty strongly. And once again, its price is very, very similar to Brent that we looked at. We had a bit of an inverse head and shoulders here. We had the power of the 20-period moving average. The power of the 20-period moving average. Okay, price rallies up, and then we can see that price is adding there. It's adding its every time it can't get beneath it, it's actually now getting bullish closes, and then price rallies all the way up. All right, this is on the monthly chart, and then what ends that is, once again, here we go. That's a big monthly key reversal. All right, and once again, like Brent, we can see the price just collapsed down. Right, so they follow each other very, very closely, and we will talk about that in a future session about correlation and how that can be used to help us traders, how that can be used to help us not get into the wrong trades. Can go down to the weekly chart. Okay, so it's a bit, we had here a nice reversal pattern here. Prices rallied up there. We can see the 20-period moving average on the weekly acting as support. We had one last push north, okay, about 76, and then price collapsed. All right, price absolutely collapsed. But now price is just, it's got back above that 200 period moving average, and it's actually just moving there, right? It's just sat above it. Now, I wouldn't, not in the same way that the other one, the Brent crude, is looking, kind of clean for a possible triangle pattern. I think this would be a little bit more, a little bit harder to sort of control and see. Okay, that I think that would be struggling, but it's not as ideal as the other one, but it's still clearly, you can see that there's a triangle there. And there's also that kind of up room, this sort of uplift for it to sort of drift north quite nicely up to that sort of daily 200 period moving average, which is around about what, 62. Okay, so just keep an eye. That would go onto my watch list. I'll be watching to see how that trades this week. So there you go. So we've done gold, done silver, we've done Brent, we've done WTI. All right, let's have a little look at some of these other ones, which are a bit different. Okay, so palladium. All right, this is not something we have a great deal of trading experience on, but it's there. It's a commodity. It's available to us to trade. This is the monthly chart. You can see that it's you can see we want to draw on level support. But this is the monthly chart. You can see actually that has just been moving very nicely. Okay, that's just been in a really strong uptrend. It's kind of almost accelerating away. So we'll just make sure we draw on our levels quick before we take a look at it, see whether it's a viable opportunity for us. So what I'm also kind of intrigued about is, here on the monthly chart, what I have is like almost like a bull flag, almost like a perfect one. And what I particularly like about it is that it's ending with a bullish, in this particular case, is a bullish pin bar, which is also, if you think about it, it's a bullish key reversal as well before price took off, and when it crossed that area there on the across there on the currency, on the instruments, across there. Just have a little look at the numbers that they're quoting there. Okay, sort of 10.13, and then we've gone from 10.13 to 15.23. See, that's a pretty strong move. Now, personally, what I normally sort of say to traders is very often when they see this kind of price action, that's when they want to jump in. But actually, that's not the best time to jump in. Invariably, once a stock has started to go parabolic, as it has just started to go absolutely vertical, that's the sign that there are less people to the party, and we don't want to be a buyer when we're the last people to the party. We want to buy early, not be a very late buyer up here. Okay, so great move there. Absolutely, you could add that to watch list, but I'd actually be looking at possibilities to short it should the sort of price change there in terms of the price momentum. If we go down to the weekly chart, you can see there, it's just been on a one-way traffic there, and actually that's actually moved. And actually here if we go down to the daily chart, well, look at this. You can see this is the daily chart. Remember, step 2 is, is there a trend? And clearly, as I said, good trends will leap off the chart at you, and that's what we're looking at there at the moment. And once again, what we're seeing here is, once the trend is established, the 20 period moving average is acting as dynamic support. Okay, that's showing you that we're in a strong trend. You can see that it acted as dynamic support there. It couldn't close beneath it before it rallies up there. Now you'd be looking at it and just sort of saying, well, is it a case of, is this just really a case of, that's what we're looking at, a particular flag pattern, and that's what I'll be adding to my watch list there, just sort of taking a look there, okay, just seeing what's going on there. Is there anyone particularly buying? It could be that it's a squeeze before we get a kind of a short sell on it, but it also could just be a bull flag, in an uptrend, which is a bullish continuation signal, just showing us heading up that particular way. So once again, as I said, I'm going to add that to my watch list to look at perhaps trading that as it breaks its pattern. Let's have a look at platinum here, okay, and once again, here we go. Sort of monthly chart, rather interesting around the time of the great financial crash, but nothing really shocking or surprising there. And I'm just drawing in my levels, all right, just drawing in my levels. And the good thing about MetaTrader 4, okay, as a platform, is that once once your lines are drawn on, well then invariably they stay there for forever unless you actually sort of change or erase the chart. So yes, admittedly, the first time you do it, it can take a little bit of time to just work out everything and put the bits on. But as you can see, once once those particular drawings and sort of levels are on, they're bound to stay there, which will help you enormously. Super. So I'm just looking here. I'm just kind of intrigued that we had lots of levels, lots of boys trying to push down and get trades on. Okay, get longs, but actually we can see that particular area, that particular zone, around about 780, is very very strong, and we can see that price actually just bounced its way off there. It rose very strongly until it hit the sort of highs of the recent high, and then actually dropped away again. So, there's nothing really for me to trade on this at the moment. I'm just interested in the sort of massive swings that are going on, and then perhaps we'll see some glamour during this particular in terms of glamour, in terms of trading opportunities. At the moment, there's not really anything there to help us with. So that was platinum, sorry, and let's have a look at natural gas here. Okay, natural gas. Okay, we're up on the monthly chart. All right, so you can see it's not as pretty or picturesque or as many traders working on that as there are on other sort of trading instruments, but sometimes that can be a bonus to you depending upon what your trading style is and what you're actually looking for. So just draw these in. Chart package, just there we go. Just drawing a bit more of these here, just to understand them. Go down to the weekly chart. We can see from the weekly chart that price was in a pretty congested zone, but then towards the end of last year, we had a little bit of a rocket there, didn't we? Price just rocketed up there, completely from around about $3 up to about 480, 490. Okay, that's a pretty big significant move there in natural gas, and it's as soon as it went up there, it also actually carried it all the way down, and that's where you should look to sort of focus your efforts. There's nothing there at the moment, but I'd be interested to see if price breaks that particular level of support. Well, then, is that a case of that now an opportunity to sort of get on a good downtrend for natural gas? So platinum we did, and we'll just very quickly finish with the dollar index. Okay, dollar index I cover much more on the real-time daily trading ideas, but here we have it. Here's the monthly chart. All right, I'm intrigued that we had a big move up on the monthly chart, big move up. Okay, and then actually just not long after dollar got it, Trump got in. He wanted a weaker dollar, and we actually had a year of just basically very very soft dollar. But you can see for yourself, that's an indication that dollar's strengthening across the board. That means basically, commodities are getting more expensive, and that also means that there'll be problems in other people's economy. But that's a conversation, a topic for another day. Actually, at the moment, all we're really interested in is just drawing in our levels of support or resistance. Okay, so a little bit like what we're talking about, gold and silver at the start. We had a bit of a left shoulder here, then we had a final push up, finished with a nice key reversal. Okay, once again on the monthly chart, then price skedaddled down. Okay, it fell quite significantly in dollar index, and now we've had a push up. Okay, and what we're seeing over the last week or two is actually a new push to sort of new highs. And what we had last week, okay, which is of interest to some people, is that it was the close last week was the kind of highest weekly close we've had for about 18 months or so. Okay, that's just an indication of dollar strength there, and and once again we've had euro just basically coiling up to be to take to be taken to the cleaners by the sort of the UK traders, or trading trading the dollar against various instruments. What we've seen is, and if you've joined me on the real-time daily trading ideas, is that you'll see that this year we've talked about a particular level being of real consistency in terms of what it provides, where what price keeps going back to test, and that was looking at the 95 region. Okay, we've had they've had a couple of late tests there. Okay, we had a little bit of a high test, a little bit of a pullback into a possible beach move in terms of price is like a beach ball. If you push it down until it hits a point, and then it just pops up out of you. Okay. And runs away, and we're now back up to around about that kind of 97.30 to 97.60 area there. Okay, so hopefully that is actually being taken care of by sort of traders get waiting to trade that opportunity. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. All right, just very quickly gone through the dollar index and all of those commodities that we've got, and that's it. We're going to do that over the next few weeks. Okay, we'll do it for our FX pairs. We're going to do it for our equities. We're going to do it for our indices, and it's about just literally building a profile there, following the steps. Okay, that we've talked about in the Mastering Forex trading webinars. Also looking for seeing patterns, looking to see that there's something to add to our watch list that might be a trading opportunity for us in the very near future. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you found that useful. I wish you the best of success in your own trading. As I said, if you want to join us for live sessions, then there's real-time daily trading ideas at tomorrow, London time, at 10 o'clock for sort of 15 minutes or so. You'd be very welcome to join us. And in the meantime, I look forward to speaking to you next week, and I wish you all the best of success in your own trading and engagements, ladies and gentlemen. Many thanks. You're very welcome, Phil. All right. I hope you found that useful. Thank you.